Okay, this is episode 30 of What If History restarted. Last time, some stuff happened in China. Cypriots went on even more expansion. Gold Coast fell apart. The Americas were finally relevant. Some stuff happened in Europe. That's about it. This episode might be a little bit shorter because my laptop is about to run out of battery, but oh well. So, I don't know why I always start out the videos with the Cypriot Empire, but I guess that's the thing now. So last time I mentioned that obviously they've had some rebellious territories for a while now, but they've done a pretty good job of putting these rebellions out, but it's starting to get very apparent over here in Italy and in Greece. I would say that the highly rebellious areas are probably like this. Maybe not Peloponnesia. So yeah, those are highly rebellious territories. Other ones we probably see are over here and like where the red team in Persia was. So a little bit up in like the blue team area. And some in North Egypt and Egypt. Those are all like the very rebellious areas. Surprisingly, there's not any in Arabia, even though there's a ton of countries here. But everyone actually kind of likes living in a big country for once. So over here, it's just like it's like moderate. It's almost severely rebellious in like these areas, but it's just a little bit below severely. So yeah, there's probably a couple actual rebellions. I mean, you might see like a little red team one, or like a little blue team guy. But Cypriot, maybe even like this sort of area. An Egyptian one. This is just examples. I'm not saying it all happened exactly like this. But yeah, Cyprus puts all these down eventually. I mean, of course, they're still going to come back, but they are doing a decent job at keeping their empire together for now. But some of this information is starting to get leaked out to the outside world, particularly to the Square Alliance. I just realized I never updated this map. Alliance map. You can keep that there. These guys, woo. These guys are like this. And then, bam. 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 But yeah, that's that. Over in Africa, this big old union is going to be exploring a whole lot of land. And when I mean a whole lot, I mean like all of this. Am I just making this much land explored because I realized how slow this series has been? Yes. I'd say we're only at like 125 roughly AD by now. We're on episode 20? So yeah. But anyway, yeah, they explore a lot. So there's not really many people here on the religion map. There's just a little bit down in the south here. But speaking of the religion map, I'm going to have to update it as we see a lot of people starting to flock into these areas, right? I always forget about that. Bam, 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 bam. So yeah, you see a lot of people flock into these areas. You also just see some general expansion of religion. These guys go up here a little. These guys kind of branch out here. This culture starts to take over most of the Sahara. And we see a little, like, extension be made of it. This guy takes this. Gold Coast one takes most of this. And yeah. So that's that. Anyway, these guys are just going to expand a decent amount down here as they quickly become one of the strongest countries in Africa. If you don't count the Cypriots, if you just look at the countries that are entirely in Africa, they're definitely the strongest. Obviously, the Cypriots and Gibraltarians are more powerful, but they are not entirely in Africa. So, yeah. Cypriots are very far from that. Looking over at these guys who have done like literally nothing, we see that a new sort of thing has popped up in this area of these guys. Proclaim their independence and all that stuff. The pink team up here is going to be fine with this, but the greenish one down here is not. So these guys go ahead and push them down like this. And these guys even start to see this opportunity, and they do like this. And green team's like, okay, we get it. You guys can stay. But these guys are going to be pretty brutal with them, and they're going to be completely removed. However, this country... Well, let's just do this first. So yeah, but anyway, this country is not like... They aren't going to give up just yet. They're going to have to go ahead and live in, like, this area over here, but they just kind of migrate. And now they are actually going to get pretty big. We take back the religion map. We're going to have to make a new branch of red. The red branches, like, in total, if you really look at them all, they're like... If you look at the red religion as being like all of its branches as well, then it is very big. Why does that look like that? It must have had anatalizing or whatever it's called on. I hate it when that's on. It took me forever to figure that out. This doesn't really make sense. Let's just change it. I do come into contact with... Some of the people do come into contact with these guys though. So, that's something. Just once again, more religions expanding. All the way like this. That's pretty much all these people are now bordering each other. You guys are just going to have to ignore it. The fact that the border for this looks weird. Because I'm too lazy to fix that. Finally, some people from here start migrating northernly. Of course, it's kind of just too cold up here in Siberia, so they don't really go above this line. This guy goes like this. And this guy goes up like here, all the way up to like this. So the religion map is starting to get pretty filled in. Not completely, though. Why is... Oh yeah, Indonesia is like natives as well. And you know what? We're going to see some of those natives start to become a thing. So Papua New Guinea is going to partially, not fully, well, you can do that, but they're going to partially exist. Well, I mean, they're going to exist, just not as their entire religion area down here. Capital's right up there. And yeah, they are going to, by sea, find Australia, which now is giving the Australians a whole crisis about how much of the world there is, because they think that it's just them, but it's definitely not. And so we see them actually do a whole lot of exploring to try and figure things out. I start to finally realize that they might just be a bigger Tasmania. Of course, now they have their theories that, like, this is, like, a really big island, that maybe it keeps going like that, so, like, that'll be a really big island for an even bigger one, and maybe it just keeps coming infinitely. So, you know, mythology lore. Fictional mythology lore, specifically. Yeah, they just look like this. Why is that there? We see Tasmania start to make a landing up here. We also see a new country pop up of this color. So yeah, they look like that. Capital, no, I keep doing that. Their capital is going to be right there. So yeah. Over in this Bangladeshi Bay of Bengal area, let's just add some more like ship routes, because, well, let's just do that, but also do like that, be like that, and they found these islands. There could be a whole crazy story about that, but not important to actual history. Another one of these, one of these, a little bit like that, some of this, some of that, some of this. Maybe someone goes really far over in China. Who knows? This guy does not have a capital. Let's change that. But anyway, as I was saying, in this Bay of Bengal area, we see Bangladesh, who used to be pretty small, is now pretty unhappy with that because they really don't like being invaded now that they have seen how bad it is. So if we go ahead and grab this religion / culture / ethnicity, I just say religion to simplify it, but really it could be a mixture of all those things. They're now going to expand a lot. I mean, like all the way up here. Let's just do that. Sure. Yeah, they're very large. And they're even going to get a major city. In fact, we see a couple major cities pop up in this area. One down, one over here. One here. Some in Southeast Asia. One in Cambodia, I guess is what we'll call it. Also, I said Southeast Asia as in like the area. This country is not called Southeast Asia, it's Myanmar. Anyway, yeah. So Bangladesh is doing some expanding, and these guys don't really like it. So they're going to say, let's expand too. But they can't really expand anywhere other than other people. I mean, they could take these islands, but yeah. So they're going to go ahead and invade this Malaysian one. I guess that's what we'll call it. And it is not going that well, as their army is severely underprepared, and I don't imagine this is the nicest terrain to be invading in. I'm not sure what it's like here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like rainforest. So, after that, we see that Bangladesh, being expansionist, is going to jump them, followed by the Anti-Triangle Alliance. I mean, probably not the entire thing, but a good portion of it is. So they start getting mauled to death, and then they die. And in this peace treaty, we see that the peninsula kind of thing down here just takes like the entire peninsula. So Cambodia gets that. Vietnam, I guess, takes this, maybe a little bit less, like that. And also, this is now that. And the rest of it is going to go over to Bangladesh. So rest in peace to Myanmar. They've been here for a while, but not any longer. Cyprus starts to have more rebellions now, not even being in like areas of former countries that they invaded. It's now just like out here because there's so much empty space. A lot of these people feel kind of like the small amount of people here, mainly in this major city, maybe in like one other city right here. These two cities probably make up 90% of the population here. They feel kind of unhappy, so they try rebelling, but being barely anybody, they are destroyed. And the Cypriot Empire is now going to really crack down on rebellions. On the surface, it does a good job, as now there's like no more, but it's making people just unhappy secretly, and even way more unhappy secretly, which isn't great if you're trying to not collapse. Anywho, up here in Europe, this guy is going to expand kind of a lot, as well as St. Petersburg, as they really start to focus in on getting down into Europe, because this guy is being a nuisance and won't go. Anyway, we're just going to color all this in, because, yeah, all of it gets explored, even though it's freezing cold. I guess they just really wanted to know what was up here. And it was nothing. Well, nothing important. Other than maybe Santa. Anyway, we now see them start to, these few countries up here start to expand by a lot. And yeah, now they look like this. And what's left up here, this very unpopulated area, is now going to decide to be its own thing for some reason, which makes it very weak and vulnerable, but you do you. And we now have to update the religion layer again. My favorite thing to do, apparently. As there's now people all over the place up here. These guys are probably, nope. These guys are probably part of this dark blue one, so they're going to look like this. In fact, if we look at them on the world map, we're just going to make them. Yes, there we go. As you can see, these blue people are now just going to start to move out here, back into mainly Denmark, because now most of this is just this dark blue Scandinavian guys. So yeah. Is Finland? I don't think Finland is part of Scandinavia, technically. I think this little peninsula is Scandinavia. Geographically, at least. Culturally, these are like the Nordic countries. Kind of Estonia. And Iceland. And yeah, I don't know. The miserable country, I mean, it would be terrible to live here. They do that. Over here in Ireland, these two countries get into a war, which eventually stalemates, and like, I mean, why did we even do that? This country is going to purchase this piece of land, just because they want to be bigger, I guess. Maybe it's to like get trade with these guys easier. Sure, that'll be my excuse. But anyway, we now see that all three of these countries mutually agree to attack this one. So there's no official alliance made or anything, but all three of them do stay true to this. And the reddish one is completely destroyed. And the peace treaty is going to be pretty simple looking. It's going to be, these guys get this, these guys get this, and Denmark gets this. And the city is now a major city. But Denmark and the gold Swedish team are going to get into disputes over who should control this land, because Denmark is saying that they got way too much land out of this, but they're saying that they didn't really get that much populated or useful, but Denmark got the capital. And eventually this escalates into a full-blown war where that's not the right button. Denmark is going to go ahead and start invading, which goes pretty smoothly. Finland, they're pretty much Finland. I mean, are they though? They really aren't. So St. Petersburg also helps out with this. And eventually Denmark is kind of like unhappy with this, because now they're going to have to give up some of this land to them. But they probably could have beat them on their own. But regardless, Denmark is still kind of happy with this outcome. So now look like that. Of course, there's now the religion issue, but that's fine. Maybe we can say that some of the blue people that just moved out actually didn't move out here. Sure. But speaking of people moving out, dark blue people are also going to probably start moving out a little bit, because they don't want to be under Finnish control. Over in this area, we're going to see an orange Ukrainian country pop up. I mean, I don't even know if you call this like Ukrainian, but I guess that's the most accurate title. So it is right here. Just culture. Just people forming a nation. That's it. There's this weird little, oh no, it's just a lake. But you know what, these guys, it's not enough border gore, I feel. You know what, they're gonna get that, because why not? Sure, let's just make some more border gore. England, no. Wales and Cornwall are going to get into a little bit of a war, which is going to end, but in the process of it ending, it's going to end up looking like something terrible. As of now, that border just kind of looks punched up. Yeah, I mean, there's already kind of border gore. I feel like this team shouldn't have this, but that's fine. Yeah, that's probably gonna be down in Africa. We see that New Hejaz is going to go on to a war with. We'll do this one. So New Hejaz, who was very strong, and the bully is just going to start pushing up here, and this team is going to join them and doing this. The pink team is surprisingly strong, pushes them back. They're like, Hejaz, help us. But Hejaz is like, we never even wanted you to join in, so no. And after this, they're eventually going to stalemate. And maybe it gets like here first. But in the stalemate, it's going to be a pretty simple peace treaty. These guys get this, so it's just Somaliland now. And New Hejaz is going to get this. This becomes a major city. And, of course, New Hejaz is going to do their New Hejazi things in doing some of this. I'll probably say genocide. I don't think that'll get me this demonetized. I've not been demonetized yet, so that's good. I guess. I'm not monetized either, so I guess it doesn't matter, but it's a good sign. Maybe. And in the peace treaty, there's some border gore for no apparent reason. I just want religion. Yeah, they're literally the exact same religion. There's no reason for this to be happening, but these guys, this little thing, which goes up here. These guys got a little exclave down there. This green team, I barely remember what happened down here. There's just a really big war. That's about all I got. This green team is going to do something kind of interesting. For, I think, the second time this episode, there's going to be a land purchase. Because they sell this off to the purple country. Kind of use them because they know that they're small and they would want more land. So, yeah. These guys are going to get more land, though. But using the funds from that, they're going to go over here and start invading this country. And of course, New Hejaz, Neo Hejaz, whatever they are, they start pushing in. And they really overrun this. So yeah, New Hejaz, they're just the bully. That's what I'm trying to get here. I mean, I think they're a little bit worse than a bully, considering that they're doing genocide, but, like, oh well. I guess I'll still do that, and that, and that. Ooh, that is interesting looking. And it actually has a reason to exist. So yeah. Anyway, some more, like, exploration over west. Goes about like this until they stop. Madagascar, and a lot has happened recently, but we're going to see something happen as we see this country, that's what they are, is going to go ahead and unite with this one because they want a union that can rival the African one. They asked the Maroon team to join in on the union, but that does not go so well, so they are going to invade them instead. Cut this off, which falls over, and moving up here, they really stand no chance. And now Madagascar is united. Yes. Yeah. Moving over to the Americas. Let's make a new country pop up. How about these guys? They seem fun. So this country is going to go ahead and... This selection of natives is going to go ahead and pop up into a country along here. Also some explored land. My arm is shaking right now. I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully I'm not dying. See other capitals right there. That's all there is to them. We see this country expand a whole lot. I mean, like, they're going to get very big. If you look at their religion, they're going to not only take all of their religion, but they're also going to go beyond it. So just shift that down a little bit. Just there. They're also going to go beyond this, like I just said. Look all the way, something like this. So yeah, now they're the most powerful American country. Why is the trade routes on? Trade routes really haven't been that important this series. I feel like religion is being much more of an important issue. If we remove the world map, you can see a pretty good amount of the world. Take that off. Take that off. Let's take everything off other than the religion. Pretty much a very good portion of the world is now religionified. Or, well, full of natives. There's just like some Sahara/Sahel areas. I'm not so sure why that purple country doesn't have any people living in it, apparently. Let's just fix that. So yeah. Oh man, that was so close. So yeah, it's really just like some of the Sahara and Sahel area, the outback, Siberia, and then just the far north. And other than that, all the native land is in the Americas. So yeah. Why is there a little thing down there? It's part of the religion map. That's the secret Antarctic Ocean people, I guess. But they all died in an earthquake. You know what, let's do something with the trade routes, because not much has really happened with them so far. Ooh, okay, that's my cue that I gotta end this soon. Well, really there isn't. You know what, okay, we'll do something with the trade routes, but not a war. Basically, we're just gonna expand them some more. Basically, these guys want to trade with Africa, so they're going to go ahead and start that. Move all along this coast, on here, here. And then, of course, they gotta get inland to get the lakes. So now they look like this. It goes over here to catch these two. One goes around here to get this one. These guys, ports with Madagascar. So yeah. We also see some expansion of this one down in India. Kind of just skip over that southern one. But yeah. And this is also going to get made like that. And put one right up here. And then like this to make that shorter. Maybe down like this. I know this is like a very big trade route map, but I think it's cool. You know what? I think that's gonna do it for this video. So probably not the longest video, but yeah, we're okay with that. That's the end. Goodbye.